want to welcome you to the 2017 Killeen Veterans Day Parade. I'm Leslie Draffin.
And I'm Doug Curran. Thank you for joining us this morning. We also want to bring in our retired Colonel Ben Danner. He's our military analyst. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Pleasure to be here and honor all our veterans.
We've got good weather, it seems. It's not too windy, not too warm. It's nice and brisk out here.
Yeah, it seems perfect. Certainly not military weather. We need rain, snow, and ice for that.
And lots of mud for sure. The parade is going to get underway in just a few moments. We're going to be bringing you live coverage of the parade as it happens.
Yes, we will be here letting you know all the highlights of the floats, all of the different groups. We have about, 30-something groups. We've got marching bands, local VFWs, all kinds of folks who are going to be walking through the parade today.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And our own weekend anchor, Chris Rogers, he's live for us at the start of parade. Chris, how is it there?
Well, Doug, Leslie, Colonel Danner, good morning to you all and happy Veterans Day to you. We are in front of City Hall right now where this is all about to kick off in just a few moments. This parade is set to begin any moment now. You can see the different high school ROTC groups all set, ready to go. The bands are ready to go, and people are coming in from all different angles as this thing heads down the avenue. I want to show you just the sheer amount of people that have turned out today to honor our veterans, as they always do in this community. This community really has a tendency to rally around the veterans community. As you can see behind me, the streets are lined as far as the eye can see, and you can see now these floats are really starting to get going, and the crowd is starting to get into it. All day long, we are going to be bringing you stories of veterans, both that have fallen and ones that are still alive, as this community has really rallied around this veteran community, as they always have. And this presence here today, the sheer amount of people here today on hand to honor our veterans, really speaks volumes about how much they value and how much we value our veterans in this community. Things are starting to kick off now. The mayor over here is on a float, as you can see behind me too. I want to point out our own Channel 6 morning team is here. Of course, Heidi, Chris, and Lisa are all here on hand as well. So we've got a variety of different things, a variety of different events coming your way, and we'll check in with you in just a few minutes, Doug, Leslie, and Colonel Danner. But for right now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. And we also want to thank Ashley Home Furniture Home Store for keeping us commercial free today. We want to thank them very much. And we want to also mention that the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts of America were up early this morning. They were at the State Veterans Cemetery placing flags at all the graves there. There are about 7,000 of them in total.
That's amazing.
There really is. Then the troops, they went to the younger scouts up the hill at the cemetery to teach them how to retire flags with honor, because if they're tattered or worn, you don't want to fly those.
Right.
Honorable. It just makes me think about all the people who died serving this country, and that's just in this area.
And the Boy Scout Troop 287 held a ceremony at the site every year since 2006. They want to keep that going for sure.
Well, you know, people all across the nation are going to be marking Veterans Day with parades, with different ceremonies and events just like this one, honoring our veterans all over the country.
And how did Veterans Day begin? Channel 6 News reporter Stephen Adams has a look.
The Treaty of Versailles ended World War I on June 28, 1919. But it was 7 months prior, in the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, that the Allies and the Central Powers agreed to an armistice. So President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as Armistice Day, which became a legal holiday in 1938. In 1954, it was renamed Veterans Day, to honor all veterans. President Dwight Eisenhower would issue the first Veterans Day proclamation. In the early 70s, the U.S. actually tried changing the date to give federal employees longer weekends. It was so confusing and to some, insensitive, that President Ford ended up moving it back a few years later. In 2015, there were 18.8 million veterans in the United States, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Among them is Samuel Perry, a Vietnam veteran who was drafted to serve his country at a time when civil rights activists were waging a second battle at home.
I don't care whether black, white, or whatever, like I used to say to my troops when I was in, I see one thing, and that's green.
Perry flew Scout in the Army. He rode one of the first Cobra gunships that went into Vietnam. He was awarded the Silver Star for valor in combat, but he still gets choked up about what he saw. Perry was drafted, and he says that gives him even more respect for the men and women signing up today.
Today, I just hope that, people appreciate our veterans, and because they don't do it really because they have to. They do it because they want to.
State Representative Hugh Shine is a former helicopter pilot and Army colonel who retired after 30 years of service.
Well, the most important thing in celebrating Veterans Day is to make sure that you're out there to show soldiers who are serving, whether they're active duty military or reserve or National Guard, that you appreciate their service. You appreciate the sacrifice and commitment that they make day in and day out. And I would encourage folks to also thank the families too for the same sacrifice and effort that they put forth, because when a soldier serves, the whole family basically serves too.
Today we thank those families and especially those veterans for their service. Reporting in Central Texas, Stephen Adams, Channel 6 News.
Even though we honor our veterans every single day, today is a special day, and there are a lot of places around the community that are giving away freebies.
There really are. If you head over to our website, KCEN-TV.com, there's a list of all the restaurants. There are hundreds of them in Central Texas that are taking part in giving free meals and other things that are going on this Veterans Day. Let's bring in Colonel Danner, who's been so patient over here.
Always.
What's been your experience so far with Veterans Day parades?
I tell you, Central Texas does it like nobody else. I mean, they honor our veterans, they take care of our veterans, and Belton has a 4th of July parade, but Killeen has the Veterans Day parade in all of Texas, if not the larger part of the country.
We have a lot of people lining the streets along the route. More people are coming in right now, so it should be a very, very nice parade. Good weather for it and everything.
Yeah, as you point out, the weather's good, the crowd's great, and again, nobody honors our veterans like Central Texas does.
If you come out to the parade and you want to share your photos with us, just snap those. You can use the hashtag Channel 6 Veterans Day. You can post them on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, and then we will be looking at all those pictures throughout today. I already snapped a picture of a dog with a sweater, a Star Spangled Banner sweater on. Of course, I would be the one that would find the cute dog.
I was going to say, you and the dog.
I can spot that dog a mile away.
She has 2 dogs, and she
Good
defends them fiercely like they're her own kids. So she is our dog lover of the station.
That's the picture I've taken so far. But yeah, there's dozens of people, this way and that way. They're pretty excited. They have, all of their red, white, and blue. So patriotic, and it's awesome just because, here in Killeen, we're just right outside Fort Hood.
Let's go ahead and toss to our own Jillian Angeline. She's on the sidelines with what's going on the street. Hey, Jillian.
Got it. Hey, Leslie, Doug, and Colonel Danner, if you love your freedom, thank the here. The parade hasn't come by yet, but it's all very exciting. We've got Colleen over here. She is waving her American flag. She's got a lot of patriotism. Tell me, you said you served in the military, right?
Yes, I did, from 1974 to 1980.
Tell me a little bit about where you served and what branch you served in.
In the U.S. Army, stationed in Korea. I was in the Vietnam War, but 7 months before it ended.
So did you get your pin yet?
What kind of pin?
They're supposed to do some commemoration pins to be able to give their pins.
Not that I know of.
We're going to have to change that.
Yes, we do.
Why do you think Veterans Day is so important?
It shows respect and the sacrifice that other people made.
Great. And why'd you come here today?
Because I'm a vet and I love it.
See, look at that. We've got so much energy, so much enthusiasm here. I'm here right by the bleachers. Got a lot of energetic people bundled up, ready for the parade. We've even got some adorable kids all ready to watch the parade floats come by. Leslie, Doug, Colonel Danner, I'm going to send it back to you, and we're going to hear more from these people in just a few minutes.
All right,
little
Jillian.
one had her coffee.
I know.
Maybe with hot cocoa. Well, Vice President Mike Pence joined several dozen volunteers today. They were giving Vietnam Veterans Memorial a holiday cleaning.
They really did. It was just after dawn when the Vice President and his wife Karen headed over to the National Mall this morning. They spent about 40 minutes in sub-freezing temperatures. My parents live in D.C.
Yeah.
They said it's very cold out there. so hope they stayed warm. The memorial, though, was engraved with names of fallen soldiers, and Vice President Pence said that this is a great way to start Veterans Day.
Well, we are hearing some of the sirens a little bit farther down, so we know the parade is getting a little closer to us. But, on Veterans Day, we do remember and honor the sacrifice of our veterans who have returned from the war.
Despite all that he's been through, one disabled Iraq War veteran continues to fight and have his family by his side. Our own correspondent, Oscar Margain, has their story.
When you sit here for hours and hours in the same place, listening to a fan and maybe a clock, that's it. You're on the verge of insanity.
Retired Army Sergeant Robert Grant's staff is still fighting for freedom.
I just have to keep waiting. That's what I've gotten used to doing.
Freedom from his physical and emotional pain.
That's the hardest part of all. Sitting in a dark apartment just with my thoughts.
The 34-year-old Florida native is confined to his home, the single-story apartment on the Texas-Mexico border, consumed by thoughts about his wife and children who are across the border in Monterrey, Mexico.
Mwah, my favorite beautiful, gorgeous girls.
It's the distance from his family.
I miss y'all super bunches. I love y'all.
That's at the root of his suffering. Robert's Mexican wife, Daniela, is serving a 5-year ban from entering the U.S.
She told me that I was a liar and that I was lying to a federal officer.
After a border customs agent determined she was living in Texas while on a tourist visa. Daniela denies this and claims she would cross the border to get her car serviced. 2 months later, the couple was engaged and met at the International Bridge to get married. Because of Robert's disability, Daniela began to care for his children in Mexico while he fought the government to appeal the ban and petition his wife to become a U.S. resident.
Oh, she's very important to them and very important to this family.
The decision has been made on the request for a waiver for your wife.
After 2.5 years of uncertainty,
It has been granted.
they successfully appealed the ban in October. However,
all grayed out.
Which means?
There's no appointments in Ciudad Juarez.
There's no appointments available at their designated consulate to continue the petition process. Robert often writes to his senators and congressmen in frustration as he runs out of patience waiting for a resolution.
Listen, just listen. That's all I want.
Because if somebody listened, you have faith that something would be done now.
Yes, I would.
The Iraq War veteran takes 40 pills a day to cope with physical injuries he suffered after multiple blasts while in combat. The constant trips to the doctor keep him from being able to visit Mexico as often as he would like.
Okay, buddy, I love you too.
For now, long-distance chat will have to do.
It's like people over here take just their families and their freedoms, their lives for granted.
As the war veteran continues his struggle for happiness,
my body may be here,
torn between two countries,
but my heart's not.
In Edinburgh, on the Texas-Mexico border, I'm Oscar Margain reporting.
And we are right where the parade is going to get started soon. Our own Chris Rogers is out on the parade route. We're starting to hear sirens and the floats.
Chants.
Yes, we're starting to hear all of that. So let's check in with Chris Rogers now and see how the parade is coming along. Hey, Chris.
Well, guys, good afternoon to you again. Checking in again right in the middle of it all. As you can see, we're really almost about to get swept up in this parade. You can see the horse display here, the sheriff posse here on hand as this thing is really starting to kick off. Let's start to move up here a little bit. I want to show you guys a little bit about what's going on. We are just a couple minutes away from you, Doug and Leslie and Colonel Danner, so be on standby here a little bit. There's huge display of American flags all up and down each street, and these floats are really something to behold. And this ROTC presence out here today is very impressive as well. People are lined 3 rows back here in downtown Killeen. We are going to catch up with them in a few moments here later in the show, but I also want to talk to you a little bit about the huge veteran presence that we've seen along the roadside today. Veterans have just kind of turned out in droves to support the cause here. Obviously, it is a very veteran-oriented community. You can see people showing support all along the roadway here, but this parade should be reaching you guys any moment now. So before it does reach you and before you guys get overtaken as I am just now, I'll send it back to you. Doug, Leslie, Colonel Danner, happy Veterans Day. We'll send it on back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. And we'll check in with you as the parade keeps going on. Let's bring in Colonel Danner now. Vets who are back, but we can't forget those who are still serving right now. 3 Corps just deployed overseas with General Funk. And what's 3 Corps' reach right now? They're all over the world.
Well, they're literally all over the world. So I mean, we got troops in Korea, troops in Europe, troops in Southwest Asia, and a part of the beauty for me about Veterans Day is, I mean, it's honoring all veterans, those who have ever served, those who are currently serving, and I think it makes it special in just that way.
Now, you know, you were mentioning the folks who are still overseas, who are deployed right now. I have to imagine they're also taking part in Veterans Day. Have you been overseas when Veterans Day was happening, or do you know anything about what ceremonies they may be taking part in?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's sort of, at least in my experience, it's not really a somber moment. I mean, that's for Memorial Day, but you know, you don't have parades for veterans overseas on your base. It's sort of a quiet recognition, but a happy one, where you get to slap each other on the back and say and smile and say thanks for your service here in the dirt, the mud, the ice, wherever you happen to be.
Right.
Yeah, because they are all over the world, you were saying. We also don't want to forget World War II, the Greatest Generation. I was speaking to one gentleman just a couple of weeks ago. I was doing a story on the Highway 77 Cafe, where every day is Veterans Day, so they say. And one gentleman was from World War II, and he is still a phenomenal person, and he was talking about his experiences there and what veterans are remembered for now who have served in the past. And he said, you know, it's something that the kids now need to be taught just a little bit.
They do, and I mean, we were raising generations, particularly one that was born after 2000 that did not even, you know, experience or has no direct memory of 9/11. I mean, so to bring them on board, like you're saying, through World War I, World War II, Korea, the Vietnam conflict, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and just the importance of the military to America and what it means to serve. We're losing that. Such a small percentage of Americans have actually served their country nowadays that they don't have the touch point we used to.
You know, let's go down to Jillian, because we know the parade is just turning the corner next to us. She's going to have the first look. Hey, Jillian, what's going on?
Turn down that way.
Hey everyone, we're here on the parade route. The parade is just getting to us right over here. We're here at the stands. Richard, you've been coming to this parade for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I sure have.
Tell me, how has it changed? How has Killeen changed?
It's really grown a whole lot. I remember when it was real small, but we're just spread out all over the place now.
And so, Emily, you said your husband is coming to Fort Hood soon, right?
Yes.
So what does Veterans Day mean to you? He's a soldier.
My husband's a soldier, so I'm a military spouse. Veterans Day is basically a way of saying thank you to all the people that put their lives on the line for us every day.
And what do you think about the parade that's coming by right now?
It's wonderful, you know, it's a way of making me think of my husband and what he's going to be doing for our country.
That's great, and as I said earlier, if you love your freedom, thank the vet. Really important to be able to thank all of those soldiers. I'm at Fort Hood every day talking with the veterans, and I just got back from Kuwait, hanging out with the 3rd Armored Brigade Combat Team Grey Wolf. It's been a great experience getting a chance to see the inside workings of the Army. Doug, Leslie, Colonel Danner, I'm going to send it right on back to you.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Okay, guys, so up first, we want to announce the Fort Hood Color Guards. Fort Hood is the only Army post in the United States capable of stationing and training 2 armored divisions. Named after Confederate General John Bell Hood, Fort Hood has more land than any other military base in the world. The reason? The Army needed wide open spaces to train tank destroyers in World War II.
And I'll just say, I mean, the color guard is quite an honor. Soldiers compete for the honor to be part of coloring carrying the flags and the colors of the unit.
And there are the parade marshals right there. They're retired Lieutenant Colonel Pat Price and retired Colonel Raul Villaganga, who are both distinguished veterans here in Central Texas. Price spent 23 years in the Army and now lives in Harker Heights with his wife, who served longer than he did, actually. He went on to spend several years on the city council as well.
And also, we just saw Killeen's mayor, Jose Segarra, and his wife, Laura. He took office in 2016. We also had former mayor Scott Cosper, who's now a state representative. He is, while mayor, he served on the Military Mayor's Council and a 3-Corps task force. Now we've got some of our own soldiers.
One of the most decorated combat divisions in the Army right here on Fort Hood. We're talking 1st Cav, of course. It's their marching unit. The 1st Cav was established back in the 1920s. In the decades since, it has acted as a horse division, an infantry division, air assault division, and even armor division.
And these are some of their many military vehicles. It does not look like they brought the horse detachment down. Oh man, they look amazing. All right, so here we have the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 1000. This is the Fort Hood area. This group welcomes all brothers and sisters who served in Vietnam between February 28th, 1961 and May 7th, 1975, or in any duty location. Joining the VVA allows you to connect with other veterans, stay up with the latest and special events. You'll also get a free subscription to their award-winning newspaper, the VVA Veteran.
It's a nice car they've got there.
I know.
Classic. You don't see those very often. Imagine what the gas mileage is on that.
I mean, that thing is amazing.
It really is.
All purple.
The Belton High School Marine Jrotc.
They are coming up behind these folks. They look amazing. They are all in their uniforms, and that's a big group, too.
It's under retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel David Blasco. Students there, they undergo basic training, including marksmanship, color guard, as well as marching drills. And what they do is they build discipline, they build teamwork, and they really get ready for the military and do what they do best.
You know, this group was started back in 2009, 2010, and since then I was reading they have, graduated hundreds and hundreds of students because, these folks don't necessarily have to go into military careers, but it really does give them a lot of discipline that they may need headed to college or into the workforce. And I mean, all the training that they've had to go through to do this right here, that's just amazing.
And the military has a wonderful program where retiring NCOs and officers can actually transition to become leaders of junior ROTC units, and then they actually become part of the school's staff and faculty, and their pay is also subsidized a little by the government and the military.
That's awesome.
Great program.
Let's head down to Jillian.
She's on the sidelines. Jillian Angeline, what you got for us?
What's your name?
Burnett.
Burnett, okay.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, I've got my American flag here, and so does Burnett. As you can see on his hat, he's a Purple Heart Vietnam veteran. Tell me, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
This here is a commemoration of the history of our country. We have people that went forth to preserve our freedom. Some of them weren't as lucky as some of us. They didn't come back. So we must honor that. And we must be sure that America keep honoring its military and the standards that we stand for.
I like that. And you served in Vietnam then?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service. We want to thank you for your service here at Channel 6. And we're the Military Matters station, and this is exactly why, because of Vietnam veterans and veterans from all wars in the Central Texas area. Doug, Leslie, Colonel Danner, sending it back to you.
All right, Jillian, thank you very much.
Behind us right now, we have the Women's Army Corps. They are a veterans association that's nonprofit, federally chartered. The objectives are to promote the general welfare of personnel who've served or are serving. It is a volunteer organization whose efforts support our community with emphasis on VA hospital volunteer work, as well as local and national community service.
The coordination it takes. That's great. And the Genevieve chapter of Waco of
Female
WAC
Veterans
Vets.
Association. You know, that's amazing. Look at those folks, those women serving just alongside everyone else.
Women's
They are
Army
just doing it in
Corps.
style today.
Yes, they are.
You know, the WAC service, I mean, from World War II up through Vietnam, really, I think, went under-recognized for many, many years. And somehow here in the 21st century, we're getting so much more recognition about the role that the WACs played and then how important women are just to the service in general.
And we can't forget, just within the last year and a half, that women in Ranger School now.
Absolutely, and I've got to point out, I mean, the first graduate was also a West Point graduate.
Near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, West Point didn't integrate until 1976. By the time I was there, my own personal experience was, you know, women were fully integrated. There was no hard line between, you know, a female cadet or a male cadet. We were all just cadets and saw each other that way.
All right.
Behind us, we've got the Veterans Helping Veterans organizations. They're the ones right there with those blue shirts on. And it's so awesome to be able to see folks who have served, still helping others who've served, and are still in the Central Texas area.
Battle buddies are what's most important because they go through everything together.
So we've got some folks from several different local American Legion posts. We've got some of the VFWs. Operation Stand Down Central Texas is what is coming up right behind us. And, you know, we had the opportunity to come out a couple of weeks ago to the Killeen Armory, where they basically help homeless veterans in the Central Texas community here in Killeen and Waco and Temple as well. I mean, they're doing so much to help those folks that need a little bit more assistance.
They say one homeless veteran is one too many, and they really do a lot of good work back there. You can't forget Operation Stand Down Central Texas. If you go to our website, KCEN-TV.com, you can find out more information there. We've done a lot of work with them, and you can find out how you can donate and help veterans in our area.
Right now we've got Shoemaker High, the Grey Wolves, their JROTC unit, and their marching band. We're just going to let you enjoy this. The JROTC, we have the Shoemaker High School Band. Shirley Brown is the person in charge of that organization. I mean, they look amazing.
They really do. Getting out here this early on a Saturday. Look at them. They look great.
It's great to see, I mean, the drill team, the band, and the junior ROTC.
Yeah.
I mean, Shoemaker High really turning out for this one.
And like you were saying, the Central Texas parades are like none other. This is just one example of that. Let's take a listen. that? Megan Massey.
Heidi Alaga, Chris Radcliffe, all riding with the Channel 6 team. We want to thank the Museum of Modern Warfare. They donated this equipment for us to be able to be in the parade. That place is amazing. It's out off of Burger Road in Temple. You can look them up on Facebook.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to get out there, they really do have a lot of stuff from several different wars, lots of artifacts.
There's Lisa. Lisa's there. Bill Hecky.
Lisa's there. Bill Hecky.
A veteran of our own.
He is indeed. He has stories like you wouldn't believe. It looks like the sheriff's posse is on the way. Our own Andy Anderson rides.
There he is, right there.
There's the man, the myth, the legend.
You know, he always tells me he's in this parade, and finally we've actually witnessed it.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
And he has horses, you know. I think he rides his own in these. He really gets out with them a lot. So this is just another example of Andy Anderson in the parade.
I've actually seen him at the Salado Memorial Day ceremony. The sheriff's posse's out there. And also, of course, at the Belton 4th of July parade.
Yep.
He gets around.
Oh, he coming over?
There he is.
Oh, hi.
Said there'd be donuts.
They're over there.
Is that with the horse or Andy?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Never a dull moment with that man, that's for sure. Now he's got to catch up. Bell County Sheriff's Posse.
So behind us right now, we have the Friends of the Central Texas State Veterans Cemetery. And, you know, Doug, you were talking earlier about all the Boy Scouts who went out there this morning to place flags on the veterans' graves.
Yeah, they did about 7,000 in total. And then they were teaching the younger kids about what Veterans Day is all about. And Colonel Danner and I were talking earlier about the kids who were born after 9/11. Sometimes they really don't have the sense of what it was like. And you know, as they were growing up, so many people were deployed and they were born into the Afghanistan, the Iraq, the Middle East missions there.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. These kids that were born after 9/11 have really never known an America that wasn't at war. And yet, you know, at times over the last 17 years, we haven't been able to recognize. I mean, many men don't even realize that we are still at war. And it's a surprise to them. And others, as you're pointing out, born into military families, are very acutely aware of that scenario.
Well, let's head over to Jillian Angeline. She is on the sideline. She's got a great look at what's coming up next. Hey, Jillian.
Hey everyone, we're sitting right here with Lorena right on the parade sidelines as everyone's going by. There's a bit of a lull in the parade, so I'm here with Lorena. Why are you here today?
To support the veterans.
And you've got two flags. You've been waving them. Show me your wave. And you're here in Killeen. You see soldiers all the time. Why do you think it's so important to be seeing these soldiers?
Because they help us and they fight for us to protect the city of Killeen.
And the whole country too, right? Yeah, definitely. So what are you going to tell your classmates about this parade today?
That there was a lot of them to come to support. And there was all different kinds of parades, like the Shoemaker Band and soldiers and trucks.
Okay, all right, well, I'm going to practice my wave with you. Let's go. Ready? I'll send it back to you guys right now.
All right,
Looking good, Jillian.
Thank you very much.
Coming up behind us, we have another band sounding amazing.
It's the Cavalier Band from Killeen. They sound great today.
Cavalier Band.
Of course, the HEB truck making its way down Church Street. And you know, a lot of businesses in Central Texas, they really do a lot of good work because they make it a point to hire veterans who have come back. Speaking with one veteran just a couple of weeks ago who says he's been deployed 4 times since 2006. And he said that when he comes back, he's worried about his drive and his purpose because he's been deployed and, with so much responsibility over there, that when he comes back, he is appreciative of all the businesses here who help them reintegrate into civilian life. And he says that they really do a lot of good work.
This is the Ellison High School JROTC group, led by Lieutenant Colonel retired Joseph Merlo. Again, a big group of students from Ellison High School. This is their band. They are led by Jeff Smith.
The patriotism of our students is, around Central Texas too, is quite surprising to many. There are cadets at West Point. I know some current cadets at West Point, and they didn't believe, his friends didn't believe that our students actually say the pledge before the school day starts, or say the pledge and honor the Texas flag every day at school. Just didn't believe it. And these are cadets that are serving at West Point.
Oh, wow. Parker Heights. Ellison.
That's Ellison, yeah.
They really came out today. They sound great.
Look at that green. That's amazing. Waving those flags. This is Pack 221 from Fort Hood.
The Pack 210.
Yep, Pack 210 right behind them.
In the Cub Scouts, my son was in the Cub Scouts as well, and they really do learn about patriotism and what it means to be an American citizen and how different it is from living in other countries. And it really is a great program that they have there. Pack 232 out of Harker Heights.
And I wonder if these are some of the kiddos who are out at the Central Texas State Veterans Cemetery this morning with the Boy Scouts.
Probably were. All right, let's head out to Jillian Angeline. She's on the sidelines. Jillian, what are you seeing?
Leslie, Doug, Colonel Danner, I cover Fort Hood almost every day, and 1st Cav Division is something I'm always covering. So when I saw this hat from the parade sidelines, I couldn't help but talk with this man. Tell me, what is your name?
Larry Maris.
And you've been in 1st Cav Division. What section were you in?
I was in 17 Cav.
You said Dan Owen, right? You said Dan Owen?
Gary Owen.
Gary, I'm so sorry. Gary Owen. And what does Veterans Day mean to you?
It means a lot. I lost a lot of friends in Afghanistan. I lost a lot of friends during Desert Storm. And so this is a special day for me.
So every Veterans Day, do you come to the parade? What do you do?
Every Veterans Day, this is my tradition. This is my way of saying I miss you. And I go to the cemetery and I say goodbye to my friends.
How many years did you serve?
I was in 22 years.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
That's something that we always want to do on Veterans Day, and this entire weekend is right. Thank you for your service. So whenever you see a veteran, you thank them for all that they did for our country. We're going to toss it on back to you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Jillian, thank you very much. And we just had the Killeen JROTC pass by, led by Lieutenant Colonel John Stanley.
We had some of the Korean War veterans pass by a minute ago, and then of course these folks all celebrating Veterans Day as well. Coming up now down the street, got another group of JROTC students. These are from Killeen.
Yeah, this is a sharp, very sharp-looking group of young men and women.
This group, Killeen High School Jrotc, is led by Lieutenant Colonel John Stanley. The Ruse.
Killeen High School is right behind them.
Yeah, we got the band led by Spencer Gregg. They are looking amazing.
I have no coordination to see them.
I was just thinking
Put
about
all
how
this
amazing
together.
their outfits are. These are, I've seen several outfits like this in bands across the area. Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
I think it's my favorite. So Texas, I love it.
Kappa Epsilon side, militaries. Ah, look at the kids. Girl Scouts, I saw some Girl Scouts in that crowd. Killeen Key is right behind us now.
Amazing. Military sorority.
What a collection of paramilitary youth organizations, marching bands. Doesn't get better than this on a Saturday morning.
There we got Girl Scouts and several different troops behind us.
Keep in touch with them. Hopefully they'll have some cookies soon. Killeen Alumni Chapter making their way down the streets. Oh, look at the cars. Cafe Credit Union waving their flags. Oh, look at the dog. Is that a pug?
Yep, very cute. Like we mentioned earlier, we want to thank Ashley Furniture Home Store here in Killeen for helping us be commercial free today, so you can see all of the amazing sights and sounds from Central Texas Community Veterans Day Parade here in Killeen.
And it really is great for everybody to come out and they speak with other vets and they learn more about what Veterans Day really means and get to see a lot of cool floats and cars and meet lots of fun people. That's a horn I want.
Right? Look at these amazing cars.
Colonel Danner, when did you serve?
I entered West Point in 1983 and then and retired in 2013.
And you were overseas. When Channel 6 went to Baghdad and Iraq, that's where you and I met, actually. You were working with General Cone.
Yeah, so we were over the 3 Corps headquarters, multinational forces Iraq, with General Cone as the commander of that unit, and we hosted you over there. And I remember when we met in the studio there at All Fall Palace. You had just come off 35 hours of travel or so, and and we're bucking up pretty well, I thought.
Wasn't doing too bad. You get to that delirious point.
Saw the Central Christian Church Disciples of Christ with all of their veterans on their float, looking good. This is the, I think it's the Filipino Arts group, LULAC.
Philippine-American dance troupe there, looking very patriotic.
Very patriotic indeed. Then we've got the military jeepers.
Oh yeah. Hey, our own Bill Hecky is making it a cameo.
Happy Veterans Day to you, sir.
Oh, happy Veterans Day. How you been doing?
I did all great, man. Doesn't get better than this on a Saturday morning.
Oh, I know it. Damn, I had a lot of bats out, not old timers out here.
They turn them out. This is the parade.
Oh, I tell you. How you doing, Dad?
I'm well, Bill. How are you?
Good.
Come step over here. Talk to us for a little bit. You were work on our weekend show and doing the weather there. You're a meteorologist. What kind of service did you were in Vietnam, right?
Yes, I served 1st Brigade, 1st Infantry Division. I actually was Air Force, but the Army doesn't have weather, so lucky us. We went through, trained with the Army Rangers, and built the combat weather network in Vietnam. And I served primarily 1st Brigade, 1st Infantry at Phuc Vinh. So we were down 3 Corps for Phuc Vinh, and I retired here in '83, 3 Corps again.
Oh, wow. Well, we always, of course, thank you for your service. You are, of course, at our station. We love hearing your stories. You have plenty of them.
I make up a couple now and then.
So we are watching the Jeeps behind us, guys. Do some crazy acrobatics. Jillian is down on the street and has an even better look. She's also talking to veterans along the sidelines. Hey, Jillian.
Hey, we're here with Lisa, who brought her sons down here to celebrate Veterans Day, as well as her sisters. Why did you bring everyone down here for this awesome parade?
My kids really like the Army. William wanted to be either a police officer or in the Army, and he wants to be in the Army.
What do you want to do in the Army? Why do you want to be in the Army? Okay, we got a shy one here. Why do you want to be in the Army or a police officer?
To help people.
All right. We get shy people here, but tell me, what do you think about the parade here?
Well, it's like really
noisy. Okay, yes, but what do you think about all of the veterans and the soldiers that are marching?
Well, I think that it's like amazing because they're like coming on the streets and showing everybody everything that they do.
It can get exciting. So, do you bring them every year?
This is our first year here, but I usually bring them every year to the Veterans Day Parade in Fredericksburg, but this is our first year here.
Wow, and Fredericksburg too. I mean, every place that you go, like there are celebrations for Veterans Day, isn't there? And yes, it's very noisy. I don't know if you can even hear me, but I'm going to toss it back to you guys, Leslie, Doug, Colonel Danner.
All right, Jillian, thank you very much. Sounds like Bill Hecky's making an exit on his motorcycle.
Got loud there for a minute.
I
All
know,
the Jeeps,
really
motorcycle
did.
groups.
My son would love the Jeeps, how they drive up on each other. It's really cool.
Looks like we got a female veterans group. This is Veterans of All Wars. Disabled American veterans. That group is dedicated to empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. It was chartered by the United States Congress for disabled military veterans of the United States Armed Forces, helps them and their families. This is RWV. That is a veterans and civilian program that is really involved with sporting activities. They do a bunch of runs, really all over the country. I've done some runs with them in Shreveport, out of Barksdale, and I know they're down in San Antonio as well. Team RWV.
See all the flags from different branches.
They're one of the groups that are helping veterans get back out into the community and have comradeship with their veterans and after serving.
You know, that's one thing that a lot of people who have served say that they miss is the camaraderie, because the guy to your left, the person to your right, you guys are with each other all the time, battle buddies. They really miss the camaraderie. What do you think, Tanner?
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, to a man and woman, the folks I know that have exited the service, whether they've retired or transitioned to another career somewhere, miss exactly that. It's the camaraderie every time. And then there's really nothing else like it. There's no other way to build those kind of bonds.
Yeah.
You can't fake it.
Well, you go through everything together. Literally everything together.
And for those that have been in, life and death situations or have shared the mournful loss of colleagues, particularly under fire, there's an even deeper bond there.
It's like a family here, maybe put some stuff together for their own kin who were serving in one of the wars. I believe it was the Vietnam War, they said it was on that banner.
I believe so. And talking about the camaraderie that everybody has, even when you guys get back, when the men and women come back, the families, their immediate families, have that camaraderie as well. Because as someone is serving, the families help each other.
Yeah, the military has come a very long way. So, I mean, in the late 70s, early 80s even, the motto was still, if the Army wanted you to have a family, they would have issued you one. And the Army finally, in particular, started getting smart on that in the later 80s and began forming family support groups and that were unit-based, based on whatever unit was there. And these groups have really taken off, and they've only become bigger and bigger and more important as time has gone on. And the military has recognized the importance of it to the point that they often get funding now. Because the military knows that a strong soldier is supported by a strong family. I mean, it only makes the whole organization better.
And we've interviewed lots of families who are here stateside while their spouse is overseas. I even spoke with one mother and father who were deployed at the same time. And the daughter that they have ended up staying with the grandparent. But that's how committed they are. And families really come together in times like that.
Yeah, and think about the coordination that's got to go on for that. We call those dual military couples, and my wife and I were one for a while, never deployed at the same time, but you've got to have a pretty intricate set of plans in place that you can execute in a moment's notice, essentially, if both parents happen to be deployed or get the order to deploy. And it can make it rough on the family.
It really can. And a lot of people say that it makes them stronger, that when the parents come back, that they are, that their bond is even stronger because they know what they miss. And when they come back, they know that their bond is stronger and the camaraderie is there with their family and other families as well.
I tell you that there's nothing like being deployed. You get kind of a taste of it, I guess, when you travel, but there's nothing like being deployed for a year under harsh conditions that makes you come back and appreciate everything you've got back here, and appreciate, even the small things like being able to go to the store. or nobody shooting at you on a daily basis. Those kind of things.
We are watching a bunch of different step teams, young and older folks out there dancing and celebrating Veterans Day. Let's head over to Jillian Angeline. I think she has another group that's enjoying this parade from the sidelines.
Give me 1 second.
Just kidding. We're just gonna keep watching the parade.
Jillian's talking to people over there. She's now I think she's ready. Jillian, who are you talking to now?
Hello, we've got a Killeen resident here as well as a visitor. Tell me, why did you take your friend here to the Veterans Day Parade today?
Well, this is what we do in Killeen every Veterans Day, and Ray is visiting from Michigan.
Tell me, what do you think so far? You said you are a veteran of the Korean War. What do you think of this parade so far?
Wonderful. Beautiful. Really an honor to be here as a veteran. But it's been so long ago that I've been a veteran.
And now you said that this is what we do in Killeen, and we were agreeing that, veterans are honored every day of the year.
We need to. Yes, that's right. This is military community, and we honor our military that serve here. And I appreciate it, everyone.
And that's why we're here in Killeen today for the Veterans Day Parade, because that's what we do here in Killeen. We celebrate the veterans. Leslie, Doug, Colonel Danner, sending it right back to you.
All right, Jillian, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take a look at the parade route. Looks like we're seeing a series of Corvettes. Looks like from back in the 60s to today. The Stingray, I think, is the latest one that they've come out with. Beautiful machine.
Absolutely beautiful. And love seeing those groups come out and take part. Got this awesome little group as well. Maybe another little
Scouts.
Girl Scout group.
Oh, both my girls are in the Girl Scouts. Got a particular soft spot for that organization.
Yeah, both of my girls are too.
I eat a lot of the cookies, so it's a soft
Oh
spot
my
for
gosh.
me as well.
The cookies. My son takes them in the middle of the night, and we go find empty boxes underneath his bed, and then we realize we have to pay for them. So the cookies they go fast in our house, to say the least.
Wow, look at this group of cars. They're amazing. That was actually the American Heritage Girls group.
These are really collector's editions, these Corvettes now.
Beautiful.
Back in the 60s and the 70s.
It's an American classic, no doubt.
It really is. I've always wanted one, though the whole family thing is preventing.
Right, that's a date night car. That's for you and your wife. And to keep the keys very, very far away from Parker when he's old enough to drive.
He's going to be driving soon, it seems like.
Then you'll need two of them.
Don't give him any ideas, Danner. Still more floats rounding the corner. Lots of people coming out. There's strollers and little kiddos.
Looks like the parade has grown even in the last 24 hours since we kind of got our finalized list. A lot of these folks are joining in and just getting out there. I have to think, this beautiful weather is probably another reason more people wanted to come out, take part.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not raining, first of all, which is great.
And it's not too hot.
It's not too hot. Clouds are out there. It's really nice.
That's a Texas thing for sure.
Who wouldn't want to be a part of this?
Of course, we want to thank Ashley Furniture Home Store for keeping us commercial free this morning. Sponsoring the Killeen Veterans Day Parade.
Wow, this is some amazing festive costumes of this group.
Ballet. Looks like we have some ballet dancers there.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get a closer look here in just a minute.
Ballerinas and Corvettes.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, we have a little band on the back of this truck as well.
Oh, look at them go. Let's take a listen.
Stars and Stripes Band to see that
Fine work there.
You sound great.
They do indeed.
Again, it takes a lot of coordination to put all this stuff together, especially a sound system on a moving car.
East Ward Elementary coming through at this point.
East Ward Eagles. Looks like we're going to get a performance from them.
Soaring Eagles dance team. Got some shots of folks enjoying the parade.
Again, if you're posting pictures on social media, Channel 6 Veterans Day Parade is the hashtag you should use. We'll probably see them on the news this evening with Chris Rogers.
Chris Rogers is standing next to me. Chris, you're going to put the pictures of all of the Veterans Day Parade photos on the news.
That's a lot of pressure to be putting on the parade. I will try.
He says he's going to try. Oh, got another car group right here.
Looks like the Kiwanis Club is making its way.
So yeah, if you want to share your pictures with us from this Veterans Day Parade, you want to use Channel 6 Veterans Day as your hashtag on social media, so we can share your scenes as well.
Very nice, the Eastward Soaring Eagles dance team there. Looks like we still have a lot of people in the parade still.
Yep.
A lot of people have joined in the last day or so. Like Colonel Danner said, why not be a part of this?
Let's head down to Jillian Angeline. She is on the sidelines. Hey, Jillian.
Hey, we're here with Toya and Isaac. I was walking down the parade sidelines, and I thought I'd grab them and just find out what you think about the parade and what Veterans Day means to you.
I think it's awesome to get the veteran support and everything they do for this country, because without them, half of us wouldn't even be thankful for what we have anyway. So I love the parade. It's good for the kids, it's good for the community, and it brings everybody together as a community to share the parade. So I salute to them and the veterans. Say something.
Isaac, what do you think? You're saluting to him too, right?
Yes. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. He's a little nervous. He's very
Happy
nervous.
Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
All right, well, before any of these cars start making a lot of noises, I just want to thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
And, what do you think about all the turnout here, and what did you like about the parade float?
I love number one, the children and all the veterans of the parade. That's the best part. All the children perform, all the bands, all the ROTC, because the kids are our future. So that's the best part to me of this whole parade is the kids, and then plus the veterans. I mean, this is just a big celebration because half of us don't even see each other every day. So for us to come out here as a community and have fun and smile, it's awesome. It's pretty awesome. It's awesome.
So we're celebrating Killeen and all the kids, the future of our country. Doug, Leslie, Colonel Danner, sending it right back to you.
All right, Jillian, thank you very much. Colonel Danner, as what a lot of people would say, this is the sound of freedom.
Exactly. We say that at tank gunnery, and I say that at my house when we hear the artillery rolling out from Fort Hood, and we're 14, 15 miles away.
Got the Harker Heights Kiwanis right here honoring Vietnam veterans, and then looks like another military association behind them, maybe another of the military sororities. All right, here we go, guys. This is the VFW 9191. That's out of Killeen.
All tuckered out.
She just celebrated way too hard.
A lot of people walking down, thanking the veterans for their service. And again, you want to thank veterans for their service. It's what they do that allows us to have parades like this today. Have all the freedoms that we have now.
And again, I want to remind you guys, if you're watching, you can go to KCEN-TV.com. You can find out more about local events that are happening, local restaurants, specials for veterans today, those freebies. I just got a text from my boyfriend who is a Navy vet. He said he already got a burger at Applebee's.
Very
He
nice.
said it was great.
Very
man.
nice.
And she had so much to say as well. Lots of folks out here celebrating, young and old.
But we want to thank you for joining us right here on Channel 6. This has been the Killeen Veterans Day Parade.
And thank you, Colonel Danner, for spending some time with us.
My absolute pleasure and honor, and there's nothing like being a veteran in Central Texas. I mean, it's a special place to serve and a special place to have served.
Well, thank you, sir, for your service, and Bill Hecky, who was here joining us. He's over there
Come give him a wave.
looking around.
So we're signing off.
Say hi to everybody. All right. Well, Bill Hecky.
All right.
Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Remember, you can find more information about everything that you saw here at KCEN-TV.com. For Leslie Draffin, Bill Hecky, and Colonel Ben Danner, I'm Doug Curran. Thank you so much.
Happy Veterans Day.